Good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to the webinar, Best Practices for API Design and Overview of Apigee 127. Today, Shubhan, who is working as a practice manager for API management at Miracle Software. Later on, we'll have the complete details of the webinar. Snanshu will take you forward. Snanshu, it's all yours.
Oh, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Snehanshu. I'm practice manager in API management in Miracle Software Systems. Okay. So today I'm going to talk about the best practices in API management. Okay, and the overview of Apigee 127. Agenda: the Miracle story, partnership and competency, Apigee API management, component of Apigee ACE, Apigee best practices, Apigee 127 overview, Apigee ACE offering, and the last is the question and answers. So next slide, please. Miracle story is a global system integrator with 20 years of proven experience, with 12 global locations, more than 15 technology partnerships, 500 plus certified professionals, and more than 2,000 employees in global. Okay, so the next slide, please. Okay, so Miracle core industry expertise. So we have certified resources, reusable frameworks, and we are global delivery from the and onshore perspectives. So resource provided are the no-cost mitigate resources turnover, like we are providing the SADO resources, and 60 days warranty period, and we are providing also the production supports. Okay, yeah. So we have very deep expertise in providing end-to-end implementations. So we are strong expertise in EDI, management, DevOps, and QA space, with core service offering like operations, migrations, managed services, testings, training, and staff augmentations, and also the supply chain services. Okay. So the next slide, please. Okay. The industry vertical. So manufacturing, automotive, energy and utilities, logistics and supply chains, healthcare and pharmacy, retail industries, banking and insurance. Okay. So we are the premier business partner with IBM, and also we have strategic alliances with SAP, Oracle, Axway, Apigee, Microsoft. Okay, all are the strategic partnership with Miracle Software Systems. Okay. The next slide. Okay. Miracle partnership and competencies. Miracle has dedicated competency centers involved in executing API management projects, innovative use cases, reusable patterns, accelerators, and working with partners on beta version to providing the ends. Miracle has dedicated lab setups for Apigee for enable employees to gain deep expertise on different aspects of technologies. Miracle will partner with customers to enable and educate them, conducting the roadshows, training, and webinars, etc. Apigee API management. Apigee has 3 components like Apigee ACE, Insight, Extens. In Apigee ACE, we can develop our microservices and APIs, and we can provide all the the policies, like to create the policies and also the management. And we are Apigee ACE also providing some operations automations, development management, and all the securities at runtimes, and also it's providing the backend as service to develop your APIs. Okay. Another product is like Insight. So Insight basically is aggregating all of your data from the multiple sources, okay, and to sources outside of the companies, and tracking those APIs in traffic, and collect the data from API access log like GitHub hosting service, and also from the Google Analytics for the developer page. Okay. Apigee Extends is basically providing the it's supporting the telecommunications. Okay, it's providing the network global for API network for telecommunication capabilities, and also it's providing the SaaS services. Okay, the components of Apigee is, so we have different components like developer management, analytics, operation automations, API development, secure API as a runtimes. Developer management, basically it's providing the how to create your APIs and products, monetizations, and self-service developer portal for the onboarding the new resources, and smart docs. Also it's providing the customized developer portal. In the analytics, like how the customer is going to, customer or business managers, how they are going to see, verify their APIs and capture the custom data, also reports, performance analytics, end user analytics is provided by the Apigee Analytics. And operation automations, like how your APIs is going to provide the zero downtime upgradations, okay, and multi-tenancy and scaling with traffic isolations. Okay. In the API development, is providing the API Studio with Open API and Swagger, okay, and also it's providing some Node.js, Java extensibility. You can customize your APIs while in the development, okay, and it's providing the testings, monitoring, version management. In the securities, it's providing OAuth, OpenID, SML and TLS, okay, and it's also providing the Node.js runtime engine. You can develop your APIs, and also it's providing the data persistence and the BAS, backend as service. Also it's providing a very good features like push notifications, okay, and it's both it's a hybrid deployment and micro gateway features also providing Apigee. You can connect all the outside of the cloud, also the cloud environment. So here I'm going to talk about the Apigee best practices. Okay, Apigee in integrations architectures. So here, like this is basically the external clients or the partner internal clients. So they are going to call your API gateway. Basically API gateway is providing your management security, create management security, okay, so using the development manager and API intelligence. Okay, so some of the data is coming from the digital business platform to expose your APIs. Okay, for the API implementations perspective here, we have the API backends. Okay, so API backend is going to call, you can develop to your microservices, or you can develop your APIs using the SWA services. Okay, so the middleware is going to connect to the backend systems and to get all the data, and the data you can expose as a REST APIs, and you can push to the API gateway to manage whole APIs. Okay, and you can provide the endpoint to the external client or partner internal client to access your APIs and get some information on that also. Okay, so here Apigee RESTful API designing. Okay, so here actually how you are going to create your URL designing, how you are going to use the HTTP methods, some of the best practices I provided here. So when you are going to develop your RESTful API designing, so here we have some plural nouns for the collections, how you are going to give the naming conventions, so and how you are going to get the particular ID from the collections. So here I can mention like that this is a DOGS docs, then you can pass the 1 2 3 4, you will get the particular data, okay, from the docs collections. And okay, so as you are passing the ID as 1 2 3 4. Okay, so here the best practice is how we are going to the associations and 4 HTTP methods like get, put, and delete. So here, like, so if you have any requirement like bias towards the concrete names, so how you are going to write the URL designing in the Apigee. It's an Apigee best practices, but you can use these best practices for all the API RESTful API designing. Okay, and how you are going to pass the query params. Okay, so you can put the question mark, then you can pass the color rate, just I given the example, and states runtime running. Okay, and partial selections, use medial capitalizations, and use the for non-resource request search DNS. Okay. Okay, so here also a few of the versioning. So when you are create your RESTful APIs, how you are going to maintain the versioning, errors, and client considerations. Okay, so like versioning, how we are going to do, like, so include the version in the URL. Just you can pass the v1/dogs. So few of the companies, they are providing like v1.0.1, but actual the the best practices, instead of 1.0, you have to use better v1. The next version should be v2. The next version should be v3, v4, like that. So this is the best practices, like the versioning for the API designing, RESTful API designing. Okay, and the errors. So here I just mentioned 8 status code. So like 200, 201, 300, 304, 400, 401, 403, 404, and 500. These are the error codes. And the forward message, how you are going to pass this is the best practices, like you can use the messages also. And the client considerations. So client does not support the HTTP status code. Okay, and client does not support HTTP methods. Client so the complement API with SDK and code libraries. So this is the best practices, just to remember and implement. Like, so Apigee API product strategy. So basically, like what exactly the product and how it's going to enable in the applications and the API team. So API in the business team. Basically, the product is going to implement. We need the keys, and keys is basically connected to the applications for the application developers. So, and basically when we are going to create that APIs and we are going to create the product, make sure like that the product is going to enable for the particular applications, means not enabled, like subscribed for the particular applications to expose that RESTful API to the customer, any customers. Okay, so here the naming conventions. So when we are going to develop any APIs or any proxies using the Apigee APIs, so these are the few naming conventions we are going to use. Let's say you are going to develop the applications. How the URI should be. So URI should be, will come to your companies, and it will come to the projects. Okay, what is the project names, and the APIs, what is your API name, and you have to pass the environment. So when you are going to create the applications, so we have to make these naming conventions like in the best practices to use it. Okay, so when you are going to pass the attribute in the applications, how we are going to pass the attribute. So first you have to pass the APIs, and you have to pass the descriptive name separated by dots. Okay, and for the products, so you have to pass the product name, and make sure you have to pass the environment name also in the product. Okay, and the policies. So here mentioned 2 or 3 letters acronyms for the policy type, and we have to pass the also the descriptive name combining to the policy type. So here the naming conventions, like, so we have a lot of other attributes are available. Okay, so to create the best to look into that when we'll create the proxies in Apigee APIs. Okay, here some of the verbs I put it, like put, post, get, and delete. So what is the actions for this put? Put means you have to update it. Post, create. Get, read means get the data, something. Delete your data or delete your example. So how you are going to call the entire collections, and this is the single items. So when you are going to update some data to the in the backend systems, and if it is successful, you will get 200. Okay, the error code. successful. If it's not found, then we'll get the error code. It's like the 404. If it's single items, so you'll get 204 if the no content is available. And if it's 404 means it's not data not found. Okay. And if you are passing some data is invalid or if data not found. And if it's successful, then you'll get the 200 error code. This is called 200 OK. Okay. Post is a more like you are going to create the or insert, okay, to the data to your backend systems. So if it is created, then you will get the response 201. It's like created. Okay. And if it's not able to find the endpoint where exactly the data is going to insert it, and it will show like that 404. Okay. And if it's conflict, you'll get the 401. And if it's successful, you'll get the 201 created. Okay. Get the data. So once you inserted your data to the backend systems, okay, so when you will call the get move, so basically it's going to get all the data from your backend systems, okay, or any of the services. So if it is successful, and you'll get 200 error code, that is called OK. So like you're successful. And if it's not found, you'll get 404 error code. Okay. So same thing in delete. So if it's successful, then you'll get 200, and if you're not found, then you'll get 400 404 error code also. Okay. These are the best practices, like so when you are going to develop your RESTful APIs in the Apigees. Okay. So in the Apigees, how we are going to do the versioning? Okay, so API versioning. So here I mentioned like that, select clients from the backend backwards incompatible changes, change in the interface, change in the behavior. So when we are going to create their proxies, so make sure like that we are going to provide the versions for your APIs. Okay, so that it will be so whenever we are going to create or update or we are going to change anything in that API, we have to create another version, like example like v1, v2, v3, v4 in this way. Okay, and communicate the new versions to the app developers, support at least the new version back in parallel. So yeah, Apigee edge caching. So how we are going to handle the caches, okay, and what is the best practices to handle the cache in the Apigee edge? So we have the cache like in the response caching and data caching. Basically the response caching, so Apigee response cache policy is going to handle it. So for the data caching, so you have two things like Apigee lookup cache policies and Apigee populate cache policies. Okay, using using these two excuse me, two cache policies, and we can handle our data caching in the Apigee edge. So here's the piece of snapshot piece of code just I wrote to while, and it's developing your cache in the Apigee edge. Okay, so here also how we are going to populate the code snippet. So you can use when you are going to handle the populate cache mechanism in Apigee. So Apigee is error handling. So error handling. So while we are developing the RESTful APIs, okay, even it's Apigee or we can develop anywhere like the RESTful APIs. So this is the more crucial part in the development of APIs, error handling. So we are going to, so here I mentioned like the response code from the client code and response message for the developers. So what are the error code we are going to use it? So here the error code, few of the error code 200, 201, 304, 400, 401, 403, 404, 200 basically it's successful, 201 basically it's going to create it, 401 it's basically it's if data is not found. Okay, so all these error codes, so those error codes is starting from 2, so it's everything should be worked. Okay, those error code is like starting for 401, 403, 404. Basically in the client did something wrong in that URL, or the data not found. All the things will be related, all the 4 related error codes. And if you are getting some error code like 5 something, so maybe API did something wrong. So something wrong, and the coding wise something wrong in that in our APIs. So these are the error codes. So basically we have to handle so that the developers or the external customers who is going to use your APIs, they should understand what exactly they are getting from the error response from the backend systems or APIs. Okay. Apigee is also providing the logging. So what is the best practice you are going to logging, and you are going to use the in the Apigee? Okay. Apigee message logging policies. So they have two types of message logging policy, like file and syslog. Okay. So when you are going to use the file, so rotation by size or timing, so you are going to provide in the file logging policies. Okay. And syslog policies, basically you can use the UDP or TCP. So this is the faster but not guarantee how the data will save it, and TCP is guaranteed, and data will be, and it's also support the SSL. Okay. Any HTTPS event listeners, so Apigee assign message policies, and we have some customized code available. You can use the JavaScript, or you can use the Java Scala functionality that Apigee is to handle the logging policies also. Okay. And for the best practices in the logging, so if you want to hire analytics, or you are going to see the logs, and you can connect it to the Splunks. Okay. And some more logic. So this tool are available in the market. You can configure the Apigee to see the logs and to see the analytics also from the Apigee. Okay. So basically, Apigee continuous integrations process. So once you developed your APIs, so once you develop your APIs, how you are going to do the unit testings, integration testings, and performance testings, load balancing testing. Okay. So using the Apigee, using the Apigee, you can do your all the testings. Okay. So here, like the developer team, okay, so they are going to create that APIs. Okay. So like once they will create that APIs, they are going to put the source code. Okay. So the source code, maybe you can use the GitHub, or we can use some other source code tools also. Okay. So here the third thing is like it's showing like that version controlling and pull the request and it will merge all the requests. Okay. So there is an API job is there. Okay. There is a job is there in that Apigee. It's already inbuilt. Okay. We are not going to do anything. Okay. It's going to, that job is going to trigger. Okay. To get the data from your version control, like maybe it's GitHub or okay, wherever maybe. So the API is once the API job is triggered, it will get all the data. Okay. And what will happen like that, you can do your unit testing on that also. Okay. And here, so once the API is triggered, it will do the code quality analysis tool. So they are using some tools in between. So it will validate your code, make sure that it's it's following the Apigee standard code quality. Okay. So once your code quality analysis is completed this, okay, so then it's going to doing the unit test with test coverage analysis. Okay. So tool is going to provide you, so all of your code, so like how much percentage you completed your unit test. Okay. So it will it will send you the report to the developer, all the code coverage analysis informations for particular area proxies. Okay. So then once the code quality it's meet the criteria, then all the requests go to the next level to deploy your APIs. Okay. So once the deployment is done, so then we can do our unit testings or integration testings, or we can run the performance testing also. Okay. So once the performance testing will be completed, the job will send the report and updated documents to the developer. So this is whole about the continuous integrations process, so it's inbuilt in that Apigee. Okay, so they are using the tool for the performance testing in between the JMeters. They are using the source code version controlling for the JMeters, sorry, for the GitHub. Okay, so all the automations process is already available in the Apigee, okay, to continuous integrations with the Apigee. Okay, so the next slide is talking about how we are going to handle the traffic management in the Apigee. Okay, so here we have the spike arrest policies, quota policies. Okay, so it's going to handle your traffic management for your backend components, or if you want to the limits, the transaction limit you are going to do through the clients. Okay, and you can use the quota policy, how many requests is going to hit for your particular APIs. Okay, so we can do manually or using these policies do your traffic management. Okay, so the next slide. Okay, so here like so just giving some example how we're going to use the spike arrest. So 100 TPS, one request in 10 milliseconds, 3 TPM is the one request for the 2 seconds. Okay, so we can configure all the things to the spike arrest policies, okay, to handle the very good traffic management. So these are the basics, best practices while developing the RESTful APIs to how we are going to develop while developing the RESTful APIs in the Apigee is. Okay. So is there any questions here? Okay. So the next topic I'm going to talk about Apigee 127. So what actually Apigee is from 127? Okay, Apigee 127. So it's an Apigee 127 is a model first toolkit for building a rich and enterprise class APIs in the Node.js in your laptop. Okay, so is some customer or some developer, they are trying to develop their APIs using the Node.js, and they can install the Apigee 127 using the npm. Okay, and okay, so they can install and they can build your APIs using the Node.js. Okay, it's a 127 is the open source project that was developed and contributed to develop community by Apigee, and your model and configurations your APIs built in standard, and it's compliant with the Swagger editors. Okay, and it also the middleware components, like you can read, validate, and process all the Swagger models. Okay, using the Apigee 127 API projects. Okay, and run your API entirely in the local. Okay, and you can publish those APIs to the Apigee edge. Okay, and you can provide all the securities, transformation, traffic management, hardening, everything is to there. Okay, so to connect your backend systems, Apigee 127, so Apigee is providing the region Volos connectors. Using the Volo connectors, you can connect through your backend systems, and okay, and those APIs you can publish to the Apigee edge. Okay, so here I'm going to talk about Swagger 2.0. Basically, Swagger 2.0, it's an JSON YAML formats, and in enable top-down and bottom-down of workflows, and it will create the code, documentation generations, and so it should be provide the vendor extensions, and it's providing the industry participants like GitImage, intent components, living socials. Okay, so all the things is providing the Swagger 2.0. Okay, so here actually how we are going to install your Apigee 127. So just here you have to raise the commands npm install -z Apigee 127. So once you run this, it will be load all the necessary libraries and jars, okay, in your local laptop, and it will give you a very good editor where you can you can create your nice JSONs or YAML files, okay, and you can execute your APIs. Okay, you can run the APIs using this Swagger 2.0. Okay, basically it's providing the Swaggers and Apigee extensions to the Node.js. Okay, so these are the tools you can develop your external APIs using the Apigee 127s. Okay. Here the enterprise class API really fun. So what actually we handle this Apigee is providing all these features like in the Apigee 127s like Swagger's tools. Okay, so you can do your message validations and routing, and you can use the authorizations like OAuth 2.0, and some Node.js policies are there, caching, Quota analytics. These all are provided is in the Apigee 127s. You can give all the features and you can deploy that APIs to the Apigee AS using the API proxy. Okay, so only the developer should handle the business logic. In the controller.js file is that when you are creating the Apigee 127, all the project structure, there is one file is the controller.js. So you can write your own logic. Okay, but the rest of the things Apigee is going to handle. Okay. So here, like open source extensible API services, Node.js solution is developing and deploying the production level APIs, and also the npm install follows is providing some services and providers where to connect the backend systems. Okay, here the providing the service like caching, auth, Quota, analytics, okay, and vault. Some of the providers like it's providing memories, okay, and Redis, Apigee on Apigee, or you can call to any remote things, and also it's providing some some backend systems like you can call to the non-NoSQL database, any operational database using some connectors, Bolo connectors, okay, and you can create your APIs using those connectors also. Okay, this slide is more about talking the Apigee as offering. So here we have the cloud services. Apigee is having the cloud services and on-premises. So basically in the cloud services, Apigee Cloud is developer services, analytics, and API services, and also it's an existing backend systems. Okay, show your data center on the cloud. In on-premises, so you will get developer service, analytics service, API service, and the existing backend system also, and your data center and cloud, everything is present on premises and cloud services. Okay.
Thank you, Snanshu. We are now open for Q&A. If you do have any questions, please raise your hand, or you can directly put your questions on right side chat box. I repeat, if you do have any questions, please raise your hand, or you can put your questions directly on chat box. We don't have any questions. Coming to next slide, we have upcoming webinars for this month. We have Enterprise Big Data versus Smart Data that is going to be held on July 27th, and the next Building IoT Mobile App using Xamarin and Azure App Services that is going to be held on July 28th. We do have a lot more webinars, so please do register for webinar, or you can directly reach out to www.miraclesoft.com/webinars. Going further to the next slide, digital transformation and Miracle. We do also have health checkup workshops, digital transformation workshops. Our innovation lab and CEO team, that is Center of Excellence, can help you out with a pilot to build up a roadmap to your next generation initiatives. You can also visit to our website, that's www.miraclesoft.com, or send us an email at info@miraclesoft.com. If you are a Twitter lover, you can just tweet at us at team_MSS. You can watch us video on YouTube at youtube.com/miracle45625. If you are a FB fan, you can just like out our page at facebook.com/miracle45625. With all this being said, I'll now end up this webinar. Thank you for joining this webinar. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.